Okay, we have we're live. I'm going to grab the link and give it to you guys. Okay, it should be in the voice chat, and we're ready to go, I guess. That's interesting because usually I completely buckle under pressure when I'm doing these live things, trying to work on a computer while everybody's waiting. Okay, welcome to the State of the Chain event. Is everybody is everything working properly? The voice, the volume, and the streaming. Is everybody
live streaming is about 30 seconds delay.
I'm going to go with for the first run of a YouTube live streaming of the State of the Chain address. So this is August 17th, 2018. My name is Dan Robles. I'm the CEO of CoEngineers, or the Integrated Engineering Blockchain Consortium. And you'll hear more about the two entities that we are. As an introduction, I'd like to thank everyone for attending today and for listening to our first streaming YouTube meeting. I'd like to thank the sponsors who have been tireless in their confidence of this work. That includes the many people working on this project, the volunteers, and over 50 active contributors over the last 2 years, and many going further back than that. I'd like to thank Blockhouse Investments. They're out of Zurich for their guidance, legal, and compliance issues. And these are very invisible components, but they're so incredibly necessary for what we're doing. Then finally, I'd like to thank Jacobs Engineering Group and for their practical industry guidance, for sponsorship, and the National Society of Professional Engineers for helping us launch the current iteration of the project. We are at an interesting crossroads. It's really nice to be here at this point because we've gone through a lot of the things that most startups need to go through in forming the group, getting assignments, getting a mission statement together, getting the white paper out. And now we're entering a new part of the project, and we've got a lot of milestones we've just crossed. So one of them is that we're working on, we've got a mission statement, and let's start there. CoEngineers is a dynamic, decentralized validation network for engineers. We provide a means with which to measure the true value of engineers and their benefit to society. As far as the legal entity, we are CoEngineers Holding Company, established in the state of Delaware, United States. We have two satellite organizations formed under the whole code. The first one is the Integrated Engineering Blockchain Consortium. That's a US-based for-profit entity. And the other one is CoEngineers.io. It's a Swiss-based blockchain foundation and governance body. So those are the two entities that we're working under, and this has just recently been completed. Our tokenization model is, the proposed system is fully compliant and with the legal definition of a utility token. So we've done a lot of work on the legal side to make sure that we are fully compliant token, and that we are supported by a utility function. The leadership, well, we've got that is going to be on our website. You'll see CoEngineers.io and iebc.co. Those are the places to go to find more about the leadership, and the white papers up there, as well as the blog posts and a lot of that prior work. What's our business model? Well, we're a validation platform for engineers. It's a game, and all games have sources and sinks. So this is how it plays. People are engaged in this game, and there are sources and sinks. The sources of the tokens are claims. An engineer makes a claim, and they receive a token called mass. Another engineer needs to validate that claim, and they receive a token called gravity. Now, the sink is the cost of accessing the database. So when the claims and the validations occur, it creates a record on a database, an aggregate record and an individual record. And in order to access that database, there's a lot of business intelligence in that. In order to access a database, you need to acquire mass in order to do so. And your cost for accessing the database will be inversely proportional to the amount of gravity tokens you have. So I'm going to leave it right there. It's actually a very, very simple game. And if you think through it, you'll see that there's just infinite permutations of what can be done with that combination of events. So that's just on the very surface what the business model is. So the tokens, the fee structures and the tokens, the profit to each individual is what's going to create the social fabric, and then from there on, we'll be able to extract profits in terms of advising use cases, in terms of accessing and processing data, in terms of getting involved with other projects that would use this data. Our technology, we have a working blockchain now, and it verifies several of the fundamental conditions that we need to demonstrate a utility function, a utility token. And those are, we have sign-in or recovery. It's a milestone. We can upload content to the running blockchain. We can distribute the M tokens for the claims. We can distribute G tokens for valuations, view individual transaction records, view collective transaction records. And so those are the 6 elements that in place define a working prototype that's generating blocks, generating tokens, and rewarding contributors. Our next step would be to have an internal P2P exchange, and then we'll just continue improving the platform after that. So we've got a test program in place, and it commences with 10 testers from internal to the organization over the next several weeks. Then we're going to expand the tester pool in a few weeks, and then after that, we're going to release the public test in the future. We're in a mode of fundraising right now, and this fundraising is for 2 purposes. One is to continue developing our platform and to prepare for a TGE, which is a token generating event. So the form of let me see. So the idea is, by having this, the business model is the form of okay, so once we can establish that there's a virtuous circle between FinTech, InsurTech, and EngTech, we will be able to execute the TGE. And that will be proof that we're able to scale at an astonishing rate. So once we've established that, so this is why we're doing it in 2 pieces. We're going to develop the business model, and while we're developing the business model, then we're going to execute the TGE. And in doing so, we're going to demonstrate the core function of integrating finance, insurance, and engineering. And then we're going to put the TGE on top of that for scaling. So the TGE is for scaling, and this initial fundraise is for business development. So this initial fundraise we're calling the 1055 initiative. And the way that works is the 1055 is a seed funding initiative of the Integrated Engineering Blockchain Consortium. 1055 means we're looking for 10 engineering companies in the space, and we're looking for 5 banks, and we're looking for 5 insurance companies, all to contribute $100,000 each, so that we will have a working capital of $2 million that we can go and build our program with. Now, this limitation keeps it simple for us to manage. It keeps the value of the exercise exclusive to those who participate, and it also gives us a new pool of customers to work with and to sandbox with. So it allows a small number of visionary firms the ability to quickly and conveniently launch a blockchain initiative within their organization by following us and having us show them how to do it. It allows a small number of forward-thinking banks to adapt a new project delivery system in engineering, which is obviously a very valuable knowledge to have, and very valuable profit vector if they were to develop. It allows a small number of innovative insurance companies and unique opportunities to strategize new and existing product lines in emergent engineering trends and technologies. So it's good all around. And then we're trying to prove the thesis that engineering, FinTech, and InsurTech share a common platform called risk. And so our business model is very much an element of risk, whether it's risk to finance, whether it's risk to insurance, or whether it's risk to flat out engineering. Because the thesis is, of course, that engineering reduces the risk in complex systems such as bridges and aircraft and transportation, and therefore it's in the best interest for the banks and insurance companies to have an understanding of how we intend to mitigate and tokenize risk in general, systemic risk. So the benefits of the membership will be to access our research, to have a direct observation of how we are building this native blockchain. It gives them an arm's length observation of IEBC, and they can watch us and to perform a TGE from the inside out. And nobody's teaching this in schools or classes yet. So there's a lot of valuable practical research and discovery in staying close to this project. So the requirements are that the membership must be they should be willing to dedicate senior staff. So this goes out to our 1055 individuals. We'd like for them to dedicate senior staff, and we'd like for them to be willing to collaborate with others. So we've already run into organizations that want to have an exclusive on the architecture, want to have an exclusive utility, and we're saying that no, this is a decentralized database. Everybody contributes to the database, and then everybody can have the benefit of big data, can have the benefit of big analysis when we all share the data. So those are two hurdles that we're going to have to overcome in the people who we invite to this initial round of funding. And future memberships, this round will be accepted by interview. We expect only 20 participants, and for future memberships, if any, we cannot guarantee that same price. So after that will come the TGE, which is the token generating event, and the TGE is currently unannounced except for the fact that it will be coming, and the TGE will be substantial in size and its relevance to the state of the world. So a token representing engineering represents a lot, and that's going to be taken seriously, and it's going to be a very interesting rollout. So right now we can go into the director's updates. These are the individuals who are leading various departments: operations, sales, marketing, info technology, and blockchain technology. And then we can open it up to the floor for questions. Yes, any questions? Okay, then perhaps we can start with who's on the call right now. Who would like to start? Would Marcus? Do you have a operations report?
Yeah, we're gonna go through the timeline for the pool planning session right now. Michelle's done a great job at getting ahead of schedule on that. We just need to go through the pool planning session either on Monday or Tuesday to look at where everybody else is and follow up from there. Also, we looked at the business canvases, and we need to come up with a clear strategy and make sure everyone is aligned onto that.
So I've attended those meetings, and they're very, very productive. And anybody can attend these meetings if you want to get involved with the IEBC. The pool planning sessions and the business mapping. We didn't go into any detail on the business plan in this meeting, but when you get involved with these other sessions, we go into deep conversations and innovation, and we talk about the crypto economics. So it's very interesting what's happening in the operations space. Okay, let me see, marketing. Alicia, would you like to discuss a little bit about what's happening in marketing?
For sure. So we've got several things that are going on. What we've just been able to accomplish is getting some of our channels back in terms of the LinkedIn. We've got that. We're doing a welcome letter for Medium as well as Steam It. So that will be the same thing, but essentially it's going to be a welcome letter from the team. So we're getting that together, and that's something that we're going to pass around so everybody can kind of get their hands on it and prove through. We're going to be pushing through the white paper to get graphically enhanced. So we have one version of it, and so we'll need to finalize that as well as some of the initial translations that other folks are working on at the moment. So the mission, the vision, and the purpose is something that we started earlier in the week, Dan has worked on it and he passed it over to the group. And then during Marcus's operations meeting, we had a chance to bring that up again. And so we will be smoothing that out and fine tuning that so that as we begin to just enhance the brand of CoEngineers the Blockchain, we're going to be able to fine tune that so that there's a very clear differentiation between CoEngineers Blockchain as well as the consulting company and IEBC. There's been a bit of confusion about how things are going to work. And so a good way for us to ensure that we can smooth that out and make sure everybody's kind of in the same space in terms of information and terms. So we've got this glossary and this lexicon that Co-Creator has wonderfully put together and organized for us on Trello. So what I'm going to do with that is pull that into a document so that folks may not have to go from card to card. And once we get some of those words through, it will kind of be in one place, not card by card. So we want to get that. And then SDTV, they have a really good Medium article that's called Encyclopedia of Singular DTV and everything that it involves. And so we're going to be doing something very similar for the CoEng blockchain, and of course releasing that on Medium and Steam it as well, because if we can give everybody the ins and the outs of it and what all these terms are, as well as access to the white paper, the glossary, as well as the FAQ in an encyclopedia, then that will allow people to kind of get involved and get engaged very quickly without having any barriers to understanding some of this stuff, especially if they're not 100% acclimated to blockchain, but they are an engineer and interested in what they can do to enhance themselves and their careers in this area. So we're getting close to rolling out some sponsored content. And so we have a few things that we're going to be highlighting, some articles, as well as a few very non-pushy ads that will insinuate that consortium memberships are now available. And so we will be doing that on Facebook and LinkedIn. And then we will be pushing some of those consortium memberships are now available items on the Twitter and the LinkedIn. So then we are also rebranding the IEBC website. Dan is moving that more so into being a provider of the knowledge inventory. And so again, we're just differentiating that. So that will also now have an about page and a little bit more information, as well as a page to the CoEngineers.io. And in addition to some of the web work, CoEngineers.io will also be getting a Get Started page. And on that Get Started page, it will have several items that will allow people to do things that will immediately help them get started. So these will be some of those calls to actions. So that will allow people to sign up if they want to be an initial tester of the chain, as well as how they can simply get involved. And then we will be looking to create some graphical items for sales assets for the sales crew, and those will be wrapped around consortium memberships now being available. In terms of outreach, Unblock Procurement Conference reached out about potentially having some involvement in a conference that they have. So I've reached out for a point of contact for that. And so that's something as well. And then there's another conference that you guys would be wonderful for. And so we're working that up too. So I think that might be it. And if I forget something, and then there is a CoEngineers marketing server for anybody who is interested in getting involved in any capacity with the marketing, whether you want to spread the word or you want to find different tasks that we may have that may be useful. So that could be reviewing a translation or deciding that you want to be a tester of the initial chain. And so I will drop that CoEng marketing server into the Discord VoIP chat. So if you're listening on YouTube, then that link for the CoEng marketing will be in the Discord VoIP chat. And you can join the Discord channel if you go to coengineers.io and then you click on the team page, and the very bottom of the team page is the Discord channel. And so you can find us there, and in the VoIP chat will be access to marketing and everything else.
Wow, this is really exciting that we're at this point because so much work has been done. My goodness, populating the Trello boards, coming up with the marketing strategy, getting all the media set up, getting the schedules rolled out, and then integrating with the other groups. It's just magnificent. So this is such an interesting point in our history that have all this stuff already done. So thank you, Alicia. She's got a great plan going forward, and it's doable, it's logical, it makes sense, and it's all directed towards our fundamental goals of getting this first round of funding and getting this TGE launched. The next, obviously, it's the same for the rest of the folks, and I guess next up, I guess we could ask Thomas. He's running our sales campaign. He's our Chief Innovation Officer. But he's rolling out the sales strategy, and a lot of the corporate issues and integrations are in his bailiwick. So if you can give us a little hint on what you're doing, that would be great.
Sure. And Dan, thank you very much for sort of giving an update of what we're about and what we're doing for posterity, since we are recording this. And I wanted to give a little bit of background. You gave Jacobs Engineering a prominent place in your introduction. So I want to talk a little bit about what we're doing vis-a-vis all AEC firms. And Jacobs in particular is kind of interesting because they have developed an internal organization called Jacobs Connected Enterprise, which is really all things digital and strategic involving emerging technologies. And it's really a trend across the industry that large traditional engineering firms really are trying to make an honest effort to see themselves migrating towards or morphing towards sort of being tech companies rather than just being engineering firms that get tech. They want to be tech companies that get engineering. And it's an honest desire. The pathway to get there, though, is not clear. And one of the things that we're working on with our project here at IEBC with CoEngineers is to relieve some really specific issues that AEC firms have. And part of the 1055 program sort of addresses some of these issues. And I just want to probably raise the largest one for the engineering industry as a whole is this common refrain that there's a lack of talent. And we've discussed this at length in prior meetings that there's not really a lack of talent at all. It's more a lack of liquidity in talent. The fact that you can't get engineers and architects get their knowledge assets to the right place in the right time at a reasonable cost. So one of the big advantages that we want prospective AEC members of the consortium to understand is that we're offering a solution, and it's not just a high-level idea, it's actually an implemented solution that's coming out soon. We'll be doing alpha testing on our first engineering cooperative blockchain platform, and to help solve this problem with liquidity of knowledge assets and talent. AEC firms, they will be having a front row seat in the development of a blockchain ecosystem which spans the entire $8 trillion a year global infrastructure market. And we're doing this through the digital integration of engineering knowledge. And one of the big things that we'll also be able to demonstrate is a really good access to a community of blockchain developer talent, which is dedicated to engineering and infrastructure. That, again, this is just an echo of the talent problem I was talking about before, that a lot of engineering firms, they see blockchain out there. It's really the most advanced thinkers that are looking at it. And the biggest obstacle to them is, well, there's no developer talent. We don't have any people who can do anything in blockchain right now. We've got plenty of cybersecurity, we've got IT of all kinds, but we don't have anyone who knows a lick of blockchain. So we can change that simply through membership. There is an early mover advantage for large AEC firms or small AEC firms as well, in the safe sandboxing of the networked corporate organization at the core of future operations. This is something that not many companies realize yet, but corporate structures as we know them may slowly fray at the edges and become more networked, and that is considered by many people a good thing. And it doesn't have to be a violent revolution either. It's actually something that can begin, as I said, at the very edges and then move into the center gradually at whatever pace a large traditional hierarchical organization can tolerate. So that early mover advantage is real because it's a journey and it takes time to get to that network level that a lot of people believe is the future of corporate structures. Another interesting thing that we're creating with this body of knowledge that we're going to be weaving through our platform is first access to a new to the world data set of knowledge assets, and really a first time application of AI. AI is probably more in the spotlight than blockchain, but it's not AI by itself. It has to be applied to something. And we think that the highest and best use case of AI may be in the management of knowledge assets in many industries, but particularly in engineering. So then the biggie for the AEC industry, the immediate pain point that we're helping to resolve for them is really a networked knowledge asset management for really frictionless liquidity, peer-to-peer liquidity of engineering and architectural talent. And then I think it's important to realize that we are an incubator. We are an innovation exchange, and this will allow employees of AEC firms to engage in a new culture of innovation, an authentic culture that's even more leading edge than anything you can find in Silicon Valley right now. So we are where Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak were in the early 1970s in Palo Alto, hanging out in evening hangouts at colleges and high schools and talking about how to build a PC. That's what we're doing here, except it's going to be a lot shorter time between our discussions and actually seeing something that's going to have societal change. So, we've discussed a lot of things in recent meetings, such as token economics. We are testing. We're about to begin testing in a few weeks of an alpha version, and we're probably going to find lots of little bugs in our protocols and what we think we're doing to generate this integrated engineering body of knowledge. But it's going to be an exciting journey, and we're looking to partner with AEC firms principally because they understand the anthropology of engineering and architecture and how this can be moved into a networked type of knowledge management. So that's kind of at the core of our sales effort. And we have two exciting use cases, which I'm not going to go into detail here, but there are plenty of conferences. There's a recording with ENR FutureTech, with the Government Blockchain Association, and also with the Constructor podcast as well that lay out all these details. So no need to go into them here for posterity. But the sales update for the team are basically those 7 points that I just highlighted. Those are the approaches to AEC. We probably need to crystallize a little bit better what our approaches to insurance and banking sector potential prospective members of the consortium would look like, because it's probably a little bit different. So I'm going to end it right there. That's the sales update for this week.
What's interesting is, it's pretty easy to understand why Thomas is our Chief Innovation Officer, but it's what's really interesting is the quality of people coming to this particular junction. The people, there's other corporations. Arup is publishing another seminal white paper. Their first paper really advanced the industry. They're about to do another one, so we know that's going to be great. The Blockchain Association, Government Blockchain Association, the Construction Blockchain Association, they're all gaining traction and growing at a tremendous rate. The people who I'm interfacing with, the lectures we're being invited to, the conferences we're being invited to, we're keynoting these things. I'll be in Washington, D.C. with the MIT Harvard Club talking about, blockchain. Seriously, this is institutionalization at a very large level, and we're novel because we're talking about the intrinsic value that occurs with the people integrated with these tokens, not the tokens. You see, the emphasis isn't on the token; it's on the people. So I think that's where we're going to get our intrinsic traction. Now, disseminating all this information and keeping our own house in order is, I call Daryl Arrington like the fixer of all things digital. I guess that's the only thing I know what to say, because he's always there and he's always on spot on. And he's our chief information officer, and he can tell you about the website and a few other ideas and integrating with the blockchain itself. And then finally, we'll have Michelle Santos, who's our CTO on the blockchain, just to tell us a little bit about how that project's going. Then we can open up for questions. So Daryl, would you like to go next?
Yes, sure. So I think most of what I've been working on is just building better ways that we can distribute information internally and externally with the help of Alicia, Marcus, and everyone else. So mostly my ideas are coming from the pathways that we can create, the processes and the protocols. So the pathways are the ideas, the processes are the systems, and then the culture is it basically comes through the protocols, which inherently comes when those other two are then created. So I've been really building systems so that we can distribute information between each sectors within CoEngineers, and that's really important when you're thinking about measuring growth and creating targets that are reachable. So that, in addition to helping with the website and helping Michelle get everything together so that we can distribute the chain so that we can start testing. So we have servers getting set up so that can happen. We have brand new repos that have been created so that we can collaborate on the technical standpoint, and also working on ways in which we can build community using certifications and in reference to how we can create digital twins of actual certifications that are gained by engineers. So that's really important. And then in addition to that, we'd like to create an atmosphere within the organization so that information is easily distributed and unrestricted. So that's basically my focus, and that's pretty much it.
Well, that's all really important stuff, because we are unfortunately segmented by the realities of regulation. The engineering profession is regulated, the tokenization systems are regulated. So we have to, and we're in two different we're in different parts of the world. We have to split the company in two to have a U.S. presence and a Swiss presence. But tying all that together is seamlessly and helping us, write the rules for engagement for everything. I mean, this is just imperative work. So Daryl's been really helpful with that. Michelle, would you like to speak a little bit about the project, the technology? I think that's really the most important part of this, at least now, when we're
sure,
about to launch.
Sure, I'd be happy to. Although really, you and Daryl have already done an excellent recap of the status of the chain. What we've been working on now, and we're in the process of deploying for the internal testing, is the ability to technically onboard new users and allow them to interact with the blockchain from their own browser and be able to post content and also to validate the content that is posted by others. And in return, they also receive some of the tokens as a part of their participation. And this is a test plan that we are deploying now for the next few weeks. And that is really the short recap.
Well, it's simple, and that's where we're going to excel. It's a very, very simple model. It's a very simple game. It's a very simple blockchain that does one or two things extremely well, and we're encapsulating it within a very defined utility. So I think that's where we're gonna do very well with that. So that's our state of the chain, essentially. If there's anything else anybody wants to say, did I forget anybody? I don't see Kim here. I would call him up because he's always got something interesting to say. Or Blockhouse, if I think Neethy's on vacation, we would often have them offer some words, and we will in the future, obviously, in the future state of the chains. So right now we can open up the questions, or if there's anything I forgot, anybody wants to take the stage, please do. Thank you. Okay, seeing little activity is. I mean, I don't want to call on anybody. That's not fair. But let's. This is our first live YouTube presentation. We can just truncate it now for the live section, and then we can just start talking for the next 20 minutes on the Discord. So let's try doing that. I'm going to end the stream now. Thank you, everybody on YouTube, for attending, and please join us next week for another exciting State of the Chain address. We are moving at an amazing speed, so please keep up with us, get involved, join up, and you'll be hearing from us soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.